Welcome to Idea Tennis, where we challenge ideas, elevate thinking, and serve up conversation that make you question everything.
Parts of me is that I have a big heart. The worst parts of me in some ways is that I have a big heart, because very early on in life, when I was leading with my heart and not having the understanding that I have now, people were taking advantage of that. So then you realize, well, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because I'm anything but. And then you innately go then to the opposite. You misunderstood loyalty. Loyalty to the person's dreams, not to a business or not to a person. So the community is helping people stay loyal to their dreams and what they want. You want to be a millionaire? Surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. You want to be a book author? Surround yourself with 5 authors and then you'll be the 6th. Whatever it is that you want to be. But not everyone has that mindset. Karma, you know, is a bitch. She fights real hard. She don't play games. She comes around at the perfect time.
So I wanted to teach the community. I was thinking about it this morning. And I think that there's a lot of knowledge, a lot of information out there, but people don't know to process the information. Because you process the information in frameworks. Like when I hear somebody speak, I meet somebody new, we're talking right now. You know what's in my mind? What is that person's vision? What are they trying to share with me? What is the obstacle this person experiencing right now with what their vision? What is the transformation this person trying to have, right? And what is the action they need to take? So, because I stole it from Dan Sullivan. That's his framework. But in my mind, it keeps me on target. If I'm thinking about putting together, okay, I need to talk to the audience. I'm trying to speak. I'm using Joe Weldon framework, NFV, needs, fears, and victory. What is the audience needs, fears, and victory? If I know that, I can connect. So in the moment, I'm thinking to that framework again. Oh, I need to figure out that. If I'm thinking another framework, which is Dean Jackson, he called it VCR framework, vision, capability, and reach. Like if you have that set up, that means you have the right vision, the right capabilities, you can and you have the right reach. People that find you valuable. Because I got 10,000 followers, I got to reach. Oh, I got a capabilities now. So, you know, all these frameworks I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Dan Sullivan framework again, or the DOS framework, danger, opportunity, strength. I'm always thinking through these frameworks because they help me capture information and process it. But oftentimes we don't have those frameworks. We're just thinking, and there's no way to store them where you can remember them. And recognize when you're talking about your vision. Because I'm thinking about vision. Oh, this way, Jess, she's talking about vision, right? She's talking about vision now. Oh, she's talking about an obstacle. Oh, when the obstacle shows up, how should I think about it? All these things are in my head. It helps me filter. It's my filtering system. So when you talk about the tennis framework, oh, I'm thinking about tennis right now. You know what I'm saying? Innovate, nurture, navigate, elevate, solvents. Like it's in my head now. I can download your data and put it in that framework. And the reason I'm saying is because if you think about it, when it comes to writing, the first thing they say when you do writing is get your outline first. There's a reason, because it's a framework. You get your outline first. From your outline, go get your references. You talk about reference point. What are you going to reference? Or where are you going to get your source from? You go there, and then you fill the content in. Because you got the context, now you can fill in the content. But the thinking is the same way, Jess. What is the framework for it? We need to find a framework. So we got to teach our people framework.
I think that teaching people framework may be harder than what we think. So when I meet a person, I have my own framework. There's three things. There's 3 things I listen for when I meet new people. 3 things I listen for and that I want to know. Who are you? How do you define you? What's the energy that you give out to people, the world? Because then the perception that you give to others says a lot about a person generally, right? What's your why and what's your pain points? And for whatever reason, I don't know why, it's been a blessing and a curse for me in my life that I've had random strangers feel comfortable telling me their challenges and their whys. Like I didn't ask them and they're telling me. Then
Wait. Nope. You didn't ask me to tell you. You know why? Why didn't you ask me to tell you? Because it's a filter. You're looking for it. You're looking for nothing else, Jess.
And then the last thing is, can you guess what the last thing is that my framework is? How can I help you?
Right? No. Okay. I'm gonna stop chewing. I'm excited now.
Don't choke.
Here's the awesome thing, Jess. You just identify, we'll call it your reticular activating system, your RAS, or your reticular activating system. Your mind
I
only
don't even know
see
what that word means. Reticulated.
reticular activating system. It's the brain. Let me frame it for you. Your eyes only see and your ears only hear what your brain is looking for. Your brain only look for the thing that you're looking for. So in your framework, in your filtering system, you're looking for that. So every time somebody approach you, you think that's all they're telling you, but that's not all they're telling you, but that's what you're looking for. So then we can teach our people, what is your reticular activating system? What is your framework? What is your filtering thing? Because now I would tell you what you're looking for when you talk to somebody, because you're going to see that only. No matter what they say to you, that's all you remember they're saying to you, because that's what you're looking for. So if we can teach our people, what is your framework when you meet somebody? Are you going to explain yours? What are you looking for? And then they look at themselves like, what am I really looking for? And you're like, oh, that's my framework. Is it the framework that's working for you or is not? Is it revealing to you what you need to see or what you're not? Because all you're seeing is that now. You got to disrupt that with some kind of new framework. So what I'm saying is I start downloading other people's framework because it's now activating my activating system, my RAS, whatever you call it. No, I'm like, oh no, I'm seeing more because I was only focused on that one.
I never really thought about it that way, but it's true what you say, because obviously people tell me things sometimes that I don't want to know. And I'm like, no one asked you that, but why are you telling me that? And then I feel compelled to want to solve their problem, whatever that is that they told me. And I'm like, I don't want to solve their problem. Depending on what it is, I don't want to solve the problem for them, but I feel compelled, almost like, how can I not help them? Whatever it is. And it doesn't always have to be about business. It's like, how can I not help them? And I guess that's the empath in me, like that I'm empathetic and I want to help people. But I also realize I can't save the world and I can't help everybody. And I can only help the people that want to help themselves. But that took a long time for me to realize that. The best parts of me is that I have a big heart. The worst parts of me in some ways is that I have a big heart, because very early on in life, when I was leading with my heart and not having the understanding that I have now, people were taking advantage of that. So then you realize, well, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because I'm anything but. And then you innately go then to the opposite because you don't want to be taken advantage of. And so innately you're like, well, I'm not helping anybody anymore. But that's not the mindset to have either. So it's like, how do you find the balance of being able to still have that heart of giving and that heart of service, but not be taken advantage of? And so that was a process for me to arrive here. That was a process for me to be able to learn in some ways, like, who and what is worth my time, my heart, my service, because the people that I work with, I go all in. It's not like a little bit here, a little bit there. I go all in, but I also go all in as much as they go all in. I've learned throughout the process of growth that I can't be at 100 and they're at 50. I can't be the one to constantly push them to do what they said they're going to do. At some point, you step back, and at some point you own responsibility of, are you enabling them? Are you carrying them? Or are you empowering them? There's a difference. I don't think people know the difference. And especially in network marketing, people see leadership roles as like management, as being somebody's boss and managing them. And that is like the furthest thing from the truth. Leadership roles in network marketing have to do with empowering people, has to do with providing them with all the tools, resources, access, support that they need to independently be successful business owners as fast as they can, so that they have the ability to build business with or without that person that's in the so-called leadership role. But that's not what most leaders within network marketing do. And so those are the challenges that I really feel we can bridge the gap for.
Oh my God. So here's what I think we was born for. But before I get into that, I want to share something I wrote down this morning. It was talking about saving the world, so forth and so on. This quote that says, the task is not yours to finish, but neither are you free to not take part in it.
Can you repeat that?
The task is not yours to finish, but neither are you free to not take part in it. And when I heard that, I was like, that makes sense in my head. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm here to help. I'm here to do something. I want to serve people and help them solve their problem. But I'm not here to finish the entire solution for them. But neither can I stand by and not take part in it. Right? Because it shows up. That's like you say, you when somebody starts talking to you, start telling you everything about their life, I want to help them solve their problem. Exactly. You can stand by and not take part in it, but it's not your task to finish either. You just get to add, like, hey, man, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in your tea, but I ain't going to make it sweet for you. You got to go find more sugar on your own. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's the process. So I want to add that to you. I used to say something, though. I forget what you just, I got sidetracked just now. You asked me a question.
I said about the leadership in network marketing and the roles that people feel.
Because here's the thing. We have a bunch of people that want to be entrepreneur. And you know what? The entrepreneur gene is I would say they're not loyal to a certain extent. I'm telling you why I say they're not loyal. Because they all want to do their own thing. That's the reason why they're trying to leave the organization, but they can't. Because most entrepreneurs want to create their own thing, which means that they're not going to stick around for long. They're not going to stick around. And some of them don't make the best bosses either, right? Because most entrepreneurs are not the greatest boss. And some of them can leave, but not the greatest boss either, because they're very independently want to do their own thing. So we got to recognize, when I learned, I'm like, oh, these guys are not here to stay. So how do I keep them here? You got to find a way to tie them into something, which I like all this structure here in the system that we're working with. It locks you in, right? Because you already know the Hercules eel for most entrepreneurs. They would take off and go do their own thing. They're not loyal, I mean, they're not disloyal, but they're not loyal to your thing because they want to create their own. They're loyal to their thing. So how do you tie them all together? That's a very big challenge.
But that's the community. So that's what I've been building with Hustle with Heart. And even beyond that, we're all part of the same network marketing company, encouraging people to do things outside of the network marketing company with each other to add value and stay connected to the community, because that sense of community is what creates the loyalty. That loyalty transcends to long-term partnerships because they see value beyond just the one thing. And I will say this, a lot of people are driven by money. So how do you turn a business partnership into a long-term partnership? And that's help them secure the bag, help them make the money. Once you're able to do that, and that goes back to empowering them, supporting them, teaching them all the things they need to be successful independently with or without you. And I think that for a lot of people that are in leadership roles in network marketing companies, they're led by their ego. They want to feel needed. They want to feel like somebody is dependent on them. I want all my partnerships to be independent. I want them to know I'm always here to help them. I will go hard with them, but I also want them to have enough insight and resources to access to know that their business doesn't operate based on my schedule. It operates based on their schedule, that they have access to a community that if they don't know the answer, before they even reach out to me, they ask the community the answer, see if the community answers for them. Maybe they're unsure of the answer the community gave them. They hit me up and they say, this was my question. This was some of the responses. What do you think? Absolutely, because that allows me to empower them even more and explain why the answer they got is right or wrong. But it's not that they automatically just went to me. I love the fact that I have business partnerships that don't wait on me to go and register for professional development, that they don't wait on me to go and look for the answers to questions about products or services that we offer. I love that. And I think that if more people in leadership roles realize that is ultimately the way you lock in long-term income and success in network marketing and create a loyal tribe, a loyal community of people, then you never have to worry about income again from that source. But that's not how most people feel in leadership roles. Most people want to micromanage, tell other people how to run their business. Everyone's an independent business owner. Yes, we follow the same business plan, but how I execute it and how you execute it could both be right and different.
I want to challenge that. Everybody's an independent business owner. While that is true, that is not true as well. And the reason why I said it is because you said something earlier as well. It says, the loyalty piece, you got to encourage in the community. Well, we got to find a way to encourage that disloyalty, but also connect that loyalty piece. Because when you say go do your own thing outside of the system, that's encourage that disloyalty. Go loyal to the thing you want to be loyal to, but also tie them back in, right? You got to find a way to tie them back in. And sometimes subscription really will solve that problem too, right? Oh, you subscribe to this. But the other part that I would say the part I disagree with in a certain way is, how do I say this? The organization knows how to keep people locked in a certain space. And as much as we want to say it is like you're independent, you're not really. Because this is a big ass sales force. That's how I say this. This is a big sales force. If you don't want, this is a big sales force, a very big sales force. And I can educate you on certain things. I can give you certain tools, but it's a big sales force. So at the beginning, you are a salesperson prior to being a business owner. You might say, I want you to be an independent business owner, but no, you are a salesperson. That's what I brought in here for, because I got to sell through you. That means you are a sales conduit. So the first thing that they show up as a salesperson, and most people don't know what to sell. So therefore, I don't like this thing. Why? Because you're bringing me as a salesperson. That's the initial part. So maybe we should be truthful about that. That, hey, you're going to, this thing, you got to sell. This is selling. Most of it, because every business requires selling. And we just got to be, hey, this is selling. If you're not good for selling, get out of here. You're not in the right place. But it's selling.
All right. I'm going to disagree right now. You misunderstood loyalty. Loyalty to the person's dreams, not to a business or not to a person. So the community is helping people stay loyal to their dreams and what they want when I encourage people to work collaboratively together outside of the network marketing company. The work that they're doing outside of the network marketing company is aligned ultimately what their dreams are, what they desire to have, and for their life to look like. And so those are the things that people should be loyal to, never to an actual company or to a person, but to themselves and their dreams and what they want. And we live in a transactional world. And I don't care who says they don't have experience selling. Every single person sells every single day, whether you realize it or not. When you go on a job interview, what are you doing? You are selling yourself, your skill set, right? When you are dating a person, what are you doing? You are selling the best version of you to that other person. We sell innately, but when you focus in on the actual sale or the actual transaction, it doesn't feel the same. But if you focus in on how could I be of value to a person? How can I offer a solution to a person with a product, with a service? What could I offer them to enhance their quality of life or help them achieve something? Maybe it's whatever, getting out of debt, offering them a different path from a traditional employment. That feels different. That doesn't feel transactional versus going out there and pitching a product or a service without even hearing if the person actually needs or wants that. And so when you talk about from the perspective of network marketing, you're talking about working smarter and not harder. You're talking about working in community, in teams, and you're talking about creating leverage, which most people don't have and don't really even understand. If collectively we each do a little, it adds up to a lot. And it doesn't require any one person to have to do a lot. That's the leverage and the beautiful parts of network marketing. That's the work smarter, not harder. So you're right, it is sales, but don't focus on the sales.
Okay, so I love this. This is good. This is the podcast right here, by the way.
Yes, it is. We're gonna clip this bad boy.
Listen, check this out. The way you just explained to me is no different than any other business. Any other business, you go there, you work, right? You leverage the other person's skill set based on what position they're in the business for. Same thing with a regular business of your own. But now you come into a network marketing business, right? It is the same structure anyway, right? It's the same thing. But here's the thing. In the network marketing, everybody is selling. But in a regular business, they have individual playing that specific role of selling. But everybody's always selling, but your role is not to deliberately be a salesperson. When you come to network marketing and trying to do your own business, you are deliberately going to have to sell. And most people don't know that coming in. So if I'm going to take you through these obstacles, Jess, I'm like, this is going to be the obstacles. We're going to take you through the obstacles. I'm going to explain the obstacle along the way for this course. I'm going to tell you this course is not going to be easy, but at the end of the day, every step, you got to sell. Before you start this course, you know you got to sell. If that is clear, people understand, well, wait. I got to sell? Yes, you got to sell. And maybe this is one of the reasons when you introduce this network to other people, are like, nah, I don't want to do it. Why? Because they already know it's selling. The folks that have seen it already, like, oh, it's going to be selling. I don't like selling. So then be upfront about it. Like, this is the thing about selling. If you don't like selling because you misunderstand of selling, this is not going to be the place for you. Go back, find a job being an admin person, right? Because you ain't got to do no selling. But it is about selling. So now how do we focus on educating people around like the process of selling? That becomes the new thing. The biggest problem we want to solve is how you flip your mindset to know that you're always selling, no matter how you think about selling is, you're always selling. And what are some of the frameworks to help you recognize the skills of selling? Because that's the business you're in as a business owner.
I think that a lot of people in network marketing, especially the longer they are network marketers and haven't achieved the success that they anticipated, work from a space and place of desperation, which is never good. And so as a result, many people are misleading and not transparent to the actual work that is required, including sales and selling. So when you think about business growth and network marketing, you're selling a product or a service, and you are selling your company
or your community,
and your community, your company. You're even on some level selling yourself.
Well, you gotta, but as first person, you gotta sell on it. Sell on anything, you gotta sell yourself on it first, right? Yeah.
I will say, for me, one of the biggest challenges that I've had in building my network marketing business, and this is me being transparent, is that people see the totality of all the things that I do. And a lot of people have, whether I know them intimately or are acquainted with me, know the things that I've accomplished in my traditional profession and in my non-traditional profession. And the biggest objection that I receive is, oh, I can't do what you do. And I'm like, great, I'm not asking you to do what I do. And at the end of the day, you honestly don't even know what it is that I do. But I think the fact that people lack enough confidence to be able to say, I don't think I could do what you do, but I'm willing to learn. There's a difference. And no one's asking anyone to do what I do. But when you think about how many of us hear all the time, the 5 people in your circle of influence determine who you become and who you are. You want to be a millionaire, surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. You want to be a book author, surround yourself with 5 authors, and then you'll be the 6th. Whatever it is that you want to be. But not everyone has that mindset. And I've come to the conclusion it's not my job to try to convince anyone of anything. And I can't convince somebody to have confidence in themselves. I could give them tools, resources, access to me. And to me, in and of itself, that is a reason to be a partner with Jess, because you get access to me and my community and what it is that I'm working on, and not just in the network marketing company, but are afraid of the work. I think at the end of, we talked about originally having today's episode discuss fear of failure. And I do believe people are equally afraid of failure as they are of success, and it paralyzes them to do nothing. But either way, I think that ultimately people are afraid to do the work. Most people don't want to do something unless they know that they're good at it.
But it doesn't start there. We're gonna go back to the 4 C's from Dan Sullivan. We talk about framework again. And the 4 C's from Dan Sullivan is all about, you got to commit first, and then you got to have the courage to overcome the obstacle. And then with courage come capabilities. With capabilities come confidence, right? That's a framework. You got to build through that. But I want to tie back into something you just mentioned about environment dictate performance. If you want to be a millionaire, showing yourself with 5 millionaires, you'd be the 6th, right? If you want to be a failure, showing yourself with 5 failures, you're going to be a failure. But same way, right? But it also comes back, the other side of that is if you don't want something, you exclude yourself from that environment, you're not going to do it either. So the exclusion piece, just as much as inclusion works. If I want to do certain things, I surround myself with certain people. If I don't want to do certain things, I exclude myself from the environment of certain people, and that won't happen either. So that's the same process as well. Because now, if you're in an organization or community and you exclude yourself from the community, what the community is achieving, you won't get to achieve it because you exclude yourself from it. So the influence of that community is not going to be upon you. Therefore, you want to achieve the thing you want to achieve. So sometimes I go in places and I'm there passively hanging out because I'm looking for somebody because I already got what I need, but I'm looking for somebody. So I passively hang out sometimes and I just listen. I'm like, okay, oh, that person right there I'm looking for. I'm going to connect with them off of this network. And sometimes that's what I do when I'm in a community. I'm there, but be like, Asher, you still hanging out? Yeah, I'm looking for somebody. Because I know eventually somebody's going to show up. I'm watching faces. I'm listening to people talk. Like that guy right there, I'm going to talk to. I've been waiting on you, bro. I've been waiting on you. But you got to find your people, though.
That's the hardest part.
And you got to do the work, like you said. The work part is... But here's something else, too, when you come to doing the work. Because sometimes in a certain place, people want you to assume certain roles, like management or leadership, whatever. And some people are not interested in that because they're not. And that's okay, too, by the way. Because even when I was in the military, like certain people are not... You don't need to promote them. Because they're going to be poisonous to the environment and people are going to run away. So when I go to a place and I see who's in charge, like I always look at the board, just swear to God, I do this. I look at the board of leadership or the executive, whatever. I look at them. I'm like, are these the people I want to have lead me? Because they're going to influence me no matter what. And this is an organization I want to give my all to based on looking at the board. If it's not, I'm not going to give my effort. Why? Because it's not the place I want to grow in. And I don't want to take on leadership in that environment. Why? I don't want to be part of that. So sometimes that happens for people as well. So sometimes I'm in an organization, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to give my best because I don't want the person that's in charge to benefit from from where I'm going to shine. Because some people just don't deserve the credit I'm going to bring, so I don't give it. I've been in an environment like that. I'm like, oh, if I go shine, I go compete and I win, this guy going to take the credit and I want him to get none of the credit, so I'm not going to compete, I'm not going to win. And there are people that think that way. Yes, I'm not the only one.
No, Asher, no. Who are you to decide? Asher, you believe in God the way I believe in God. Karma, we know, is a bitch. She bites real hard. She don't play games. She comes around at the perfect time. Over the years, I've had so many people take credit for my work. Even today, still, people take credit for the things that I do, the ideas that I come up with. It, to me, is almost laughable. One, it's definitely a compliment. Definitely a compliment. It shows I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I was on the right path. I don't need credit for anything that I do. The truth always reveals itself. And someone to steal your light is a reflection of the type of person they are. Their success will be limited. It's like a limited run. Once it sells out, there's no more coming back. In the sense of like, at some point, because they are not you and they are not actually doing the things that they're taking credit for, it can only go but for so far or for long. And so their light will dim. But because it truly came from you, you're not going anywhere. You're always going to be there. I just think that I'm not going to stop being me and going after what I want because of somebody else or the idea of somebody taking credit for my work. And I've been known a couple times because I think people have gotten to know me already a little bit. I'm in your face. I'm bold. I'm honest. I will say to people, depending on who and what the circumstance is, if I feel that offended that someone is stealing my idea or taking credit for something that I did, I will, right in front of the people they are taking the credit for, I will snatch that bad boy back and say it. But I wanted to say something to you about what you were saying before. Some people start businesses for a sense of belonging, right? They don't want to be millionaires. They're not building a business or becoming an entrepreneur for the money. They want a sense of belonging, community, a support system. They want to work on their professional and personal development. They want to be surrounded by positive, like-minded people. They want access to a product or service. Not everyone that starts their business in network marketing wants to be rich, wants to be wealthy, wants to be a leader, wants to be an influencer. That's not always the case. And the people that want to be a part of the community, those people are just as valuable. They validate the community. They validate the community.
I love how you put that, by the way, because we got to understand motivation. And that is like the first place to start. I mean, I see why people ask about the why piece, but sometimes the why piece, it doesn't speak to the motivation like it is, because it's been overused a certain way. But then when you figure out what people real motivation is, you can understand how do you speak to them. Because if you're trying to tell me do this, I'm like, I'm not here for that. Why you keep pushing that? Then eventually you're gonna push me out. I'm like, all right, this person keep asking for the same thing. I'm not here for that. Like, I'm not here for that. So when you're speaking, figure out who you're speaking to. Like, we come back to the NFV, needs, fears, and victory. Find out what your audience need to hear. Because if you're speaking to an audience like, I'm not here to get rich, but you're talking about riches, you're speaking to the wrong audience. You're gonna alienate them. So sometimes you gotta understand that piece. What are people motivation? Your motivation might be, I want this organization to grow, but they're like, at certain places, I'm not trying to do. Like, certain stuff I'm not gonna do. But let me tie back into the credit piece. And the reason why I said, because people might not say the way I say it, but they're thinking it. And here, but here's the thing. I've been in places where this stuff I don't have to do. I'm fit. I'm ready to go do it. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that competition because I'm gonna win. But the guy that I work for, the guy that's up there, I don't like that guy because he's just not the kind of person I want to elevate in the spotlight. And he just need a win for being in the spotlight. I'm like, I'm not gonna compete. I'm not gonna win because I don't want you to get the credit. Why? Because you're not the kind of person that those people exist, Jessica. They exist, and people know I'm not gonna perform my best because of that person. Because that person is gonna eat it up. And let me tell you, go back to history. Do you know many times when how many genius colored folks that was inventive a lot of stuff, but they never get credit for it because somebody stole it, took it? That stuff still exists, Jess. People, credit thieves are out there, right? And you can perform your greatest and nobody recognize it. And guess what? There's no validation for it. There's no giving back to it, nothing. And like, wait a minute, I just did that for what? I didn't have to do it. But that person just suck it all up. And those people exist. And I want sometimes people think about that too. So you got to recognize that as well.
I mean,
I'm speaking for those people.
Yes, I do recognize that. I do recognize that. When we talk about the why, for me, when I want to help somebody identify their why, so Dean Graziosi, he did this exercise, 7 levels deep, where you essentially 7 times keep going deeper and deeper into your why. And ultimately what that exercise does, and it is a good exercise. Can you get there faster? Yeah. Is it just as impactful? It could be. That 7 levels is very impactful. It's very mentally, emotionally, even sometimes physically compelling in conversation. But essentially finding somebody's why, what's going to help motivate them when they don't feel motivated, is generally the biggest, deepest, darkest pains in their life. What is the pain point of that person? When you're able to identify someone's pain point in their life and help them realize that instead of that being a negative, that can become their motivator to overcome that pain. And how do you overcome that? Is it someone that lacks confidence? Is it someone who's had a sense of feeling of abandonment? Is it someone who feels unheard? Is it someone who's struggled financially their whole life? Is it someone who has dreams, but all the people around them, their family, their friends, tell them their dreams are dumb, can't be real. Or so finding people's pain points in their life and helping them realize that those pains that they have could become their motivators when they connect with the right people, the right community, and the right mentor to help them overcome and realize that if my goal isn't so much the money part, my goal isn't to become an influencer. My goal is to build a mindset that becomes like bulletproof armor, that no matter what anyone says to me about me, I am always going to stay in a place where my mind is strong. I see the beautiful parts of life. I recognize that there are challenges, but I don't focus on the challenges. Maybe that's my why. Being part of a community and surrounding yourself with the right types of individuals, that's what's going to help you build your mindset. Not necessarily the product or the service that you're selling, but the product or service that you're selling open the door for you to be in that space, for you to be able to work on that pain that you have in your life, that almost like the community becomes the medicine. You need that daily dose.
So let me get personal here. Because when I think about that too, like for me, yes, if you think about the highest unit of choice making, for a lot of people, sometimes money is one of the is up there, right? Money, your health, your family, relationships, and the community piece. So my highest unit of choice making for me personally is community. If my community is strong, I feel like I can make better choices. I have better options, better connection, because that's one for me. Money is up there too. My health is up there too, right? But then that's my motivation in certain areas. But the number one motivation for me, the number one unit of choice making for me is community. And when somebody push anything else, I'm like, bro, like my long-term vision is built on this thing. And I understand why you're pushing that, but it's not motivating for me. You take away community, you motivate me. You put community in place, I'm even more motivated. So either way you put it, I'm going to be going after this thing, right? Because this negative or positive side of it, I still want community because I understand the value of it. So for the person that's listening, they're like, okay, what is your highest unit of choice making right now? If it is money, then go for it first, right? If it is family, go for it. If it's relationship, if it is time, if it's purpose, whatever it is, you go for it. Because when you have that unit in your bank, you can make better choices. And sometimes that's what people are looking for. How do I get to be in a position where I can make better choices for the things I want to do because I have better options? And if that's a friendship, that's a relationship, that's a partner, whatever that is, you got to figure out what it is. And you go use that to be that catalyst for you to go move forward.
On that note, I believe that we're always unscripted, but this extra unscripted conversation behind the curtain of idea tennis today is ending perfect with the challenge you just gave our audience. So go out and figure out what your highest unit of choice making is, and then make your next move based on that choice. Whether it's money, health, community, confidence, whatever it is that you feel is the motivator, go out and find it. It's not going to come and knock at the door generally. It requires the work. It requires the effort. It requires the tenacity, consistency to be able to, I say, become relentless in your mindset of this is what I want. I may not know how I'm going to get it, but I'm not going to stop until I do. So Asher, where can people find you?
As always, Asher Wright on Facebook, LinkedIn, X. Instagram is asher.ra.sta, and my website is www.lifechangingwisdom.com as always. And in the show notes, you can have a lot of ways to go click on Asher.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways in the show notes to click on Asher. There's going to be a lot of ways, yeah.
Yes. And people could find me on Instagram at Success is Your Reward with Jess. You could find me on Facebook, TikTok, and you can find more information about my 12-week coaching program at hustlewithheart.online, 20 spots, and then you'll be added to the wait list. So have a good week, everyone.
Make it utterly fantastic. And by the way, pardon me for eating on the podcast, okay?
It was unscripted. It's all good.
All right, cool. See you guys later.